Hello BookTube, hello book friends, welcome back to my channel and another Tag Tuesday video. This is the Worth Every Page, the Big Books tag, and it's basically a tag created by Shelly Swearingen, and I was tagged by Emily at AlansReads. I'll link to both their channels and videos below, but this is a tag about mammoth books. So mammoth books being books of 800 pages or more, and it has a really simple concept, which is basically to highlight three or more mammoth books that you have read, and kind of raise their awareness and share what you liked about them and so on. Emily also kind of added to that three mammoths that she wanted to read, and I'm going to do the same thing because I've got kind of three that I've read and then some more that I want to read. So go and check out Emily's video as well, because she's also thinking of doing a Lord of the Rings kind of reread, group read, which I'm quite interested in doing. So go and encourage her to do that, because I think that would be quite a bit of fun. Anyway, I'm going to do three and a half that I've read, and I'll explain the half when I get to it. And then I've got a slightly more than three that I'm planning to read. One that I'm currently reading, and then some more that I want to read. Not all of them technically, the ones I want to read, qualify as mammoths in the editions that I have, but I think that's something I want to highlight, that a mammoth can be well over 800 pages in one format, but in another it might not be. So I think there's needs to be a little bit of flexibility around the term mammoth, because some books could be 750 pages in one edition and 900 pages in another quite easily. So let's get started. I've had to employ a side table today because I didn't have enough room. So first up, a book that, surprise, surprise, has been on this channel multiple times this year. It's probably going to be my favourite read of 2025. I started it, I think, back towards the end of 2024. Because it was a mammoth, I didn't finish it until January of this year, but I'm counting it as a book I've read this year. It weighs in, at least in this edition, at 1,462 pages, and it is The Count of Monte Cristo. I love this book. I would encourage, even though it is a huge undertaking, I would encourage everybody to read this. This is basically a story of revenge. It's Edmond Dantes is the kind of the main character, and he is a first mate on a ship who is promoted to captain by the death of the captain on their kind of most recent voyage, and returns to port, and because of something that happened on that voyage, he is subsequently arrested on his wedding day, thrown into jail, and without trial, and left basically to rot. And he escapes and takes his revenge on all the people who were involved in putting him in jail. And it's just epic. I know James at Quaint and Curious Volumes has recently finished this, and I think he also enjoyed it. I don't know whether he quite enjoyed it as much as I did, but yeah, he's done a kind of number of videos where he's talked about the Count of Monte Cristo in his kind of weekly reads. Don't know whether he's going to do an overall video or not, but I just, yeah, this for me book it will, I'm pretty sure, unless there's a possibility that something I might read in a not too distant future appeals to me more, but at the moment this is definitely going to be my read of the year. So Count of Monte Cristo first, and then a book I read last year, and this weighs in at, not including, it's a non-fiction book, so not including the bibliography, index, acknowledgements and all of that stuff, it weighs in at 982 pages. And again, probably if you've been on the channel a while, this won't come as a surprise. It's Andrew Roberts's biography of Winston Churchill, Churchill Walking with Destiny. I am a bit of a Churchill fan. I don't want to quite use the term buff, on the basis there is probably a lot that I don't know, but I love this book. It covers everything from literally birth to death. It is a proper biography. It was written, when was it published? Relatively recently, because there was a release of documents in, I think, 2016. So yeah, this was published in 2018. I've got a signed copy, and that release of documents gave a lot more kind of context and detail about some of this, particularly during the things that happened, particularly during the Second World War, which were considered to be kind of secret or otherwise not released until that point. But yeah, I love this book. I've also got a Kindle copy, which made reading it a bit easier, and I've got stacks of handwritten notes and things. So yeah, I would if you're at all interested in Winston Churchill and want to read a biography, I would read this one. I have read others, but they didn't have that more kind of recent release of documents. So yeah, that's number 2. And then finally, the book that I want to, and this is where the half bit comes in, the book that I want to talk about, these are both Stephen King's, and the one that I was going to recommend weighs in at a relatively slim 880 pages, and the half that I also want to talk about weighs in at 1,116 pages. Now, if I hold them up, which one do you think is the 1,000-pager? Now, just looking at them, you'd say this one, wouldn't you? And this is the one that I want to recommend. So this is only, whatever I said, 880 pages, and is Stephen King's Under the Dome. And this is King's story of basically a town that is suddenly covered by a massive, seemingly impenetrable dome, and all of the people who are in the town at the time the dome comes down are effectively trapped there. And it then sort of goes into the actual dome coming down, what happens next, how society within the dome changes, and how they work out what's going on and so on and so forth. And I bought this when it first came out in this edition is 2010. So I bought this in 2010. I read it a couple of years ago, and I basically was intimidated by the size. And I think I was going to, and I did start it a few times and got 50, 100 pages in, and just thought, oh no, And so I decided after watching, can't remember whose video it was, but somebody basically might be Tristan and the Classics. He's talked a lot about reading big, chunky books, particularly classics, and about you can read a few pages a day, and if you keep that up, you will read the book, and you can read actually a lot of books by just reading like 12 pages a day. And also by just saying, right, I am going to read now for half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, and just sitting there and doing it. And that's what I did with this. I just said, right, I'm going to read this. I'm not going to read anything else, just going to read this. And I got through it, and it works. So yeah, I would recommend this. The other book that I also bought when it first came out and read pretty much straight away, I think, although this was 1986. So when I was this is 1987. Sorry, it was first published in 86, and this edition was published in 87. So I would have been 15. And this is not as physically intimidating, but is another 200 plus pages. Is Stephen King's It. So I've also read this. Wasn't intimidated by the size. As I say, when you look at them, there is hardly anything to compare one with the other. But it is a much longer book. And this is what I mean. This has got quite close type. This is bigger, basically. Slightly easier on the eye, a bit more spacing. And obviously physically a bigger book, but actually shorter. So yeah, so Under the Dome would also recommend that. And if you get an edition like I did, don't be put off by the enormous size. Right, now, something I am currently reading and want to read. So weighing in at, and I've only started this month. What is it today? I'm recording this on the 7th, and it'll come out whatever next Tuesday is. This weighs in at, this edition, as I should say, weighs in at 1,194 pages, excluding the notes in the back. And it is Victor Hugo's Les Misérables. A book that I have wanted to read for a while, and finally decided that I would. Now, Private Eye in July is behind us. I thought I would start it. I've planned out trying to read it over August and September, because I didn't think I could do it any quicker than that, basically because of other things that I'm reading at the moment and so on. And as I say, today is the 7th, so I am behind with where I should be, but only by a few pages. So I am 178 pages in, and I should be a bit further. But yeah, so I'm enjoying this, I have to say. I don't know the story really. I've never watched the film or seen it performed anywhere. So I might watch the film when I've read it. I don't want to do it the other way around, because that would probably be the kiss of death of me reading this. So Yeah, so Les Miserables. That's on the current reading pile, and I'm trying to do a few pages a day over August and September until I read it. And then this is a shameless plug. It's not, my edition is not quite a mammoth. My edition is 743 pages. So, 50, what am I talking about? 57 pages short of being a mammoth. So in other editions, it probably would be. And that is Charles Dickens's The Pickwick Papers. And the reason this is a shameless plug is because of being the host or one of the co-hosts of a Dickens at Christmas. So this is a reading event to read Charles Dickens books over Christmas, as you may guess. So starting on the 1st of December and running until 12th night, so the 6th of January. Read any Dickens books that you want, or Dickens book. Probably might not get more than one in. And this year I'm proposing that the group read is the Pickwick Papers, and a few people have signed up. If you are interested, my Voxer ID is down below in the video description, or leave me a comment. Let me know. I know it's talking about Christmas is a bit sacrilegious anywhere between kind of January 1st and November 31st, but whatever. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know. But I am intending to read the Pickwick Papers in December. Just trying to keep control of the piles of books. Another book that I want to read, and this is both mammoth in page count and mammoth in size. And this comes in at 802 pages. And is a biography of Edgar Rice Burroughs, the man who created Tarzan, by Irwin Rogers. And I think was it? It must be Michael K. Vaughan. Can't be anybody else. It must be Michael K. Vaughan. Showed this on his channel ages ago, before I had my own booktube channel anyway. And Tarzan the Tarzan novels are a series that I enjoy, and amongst all of the stuff that Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote, so I want to understand a bit more about Edgar Rice Burroughs and his life. I don't really know much about the man himself, and this is full of. Let me find a page where there's actually yes. Sorry, not the camera. So, can you see that? So yeah, Tarzan of the Apes. So my copy is a bit fragile and a bit battered. I probably need to take the dust jacket off and try and repair it. But yeah, so that's one I want to read. It's quite heavy and daunting on the basis that I might end up reading that in bed and breaking my nose if I fell asleep. And then a kind of final few that I also want to read. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I haven't. This weighs in at, again, not counting the notes, 964 pages, but 964 pages of tiny print. And I think I might have to buy a different edition because my eyesight is such that I am struggling with some of this. yeah, I want to read War and Peace. I might have to, I don't know, get a Kindle edition or something, or just another edition with slightly bigger type. But that's another one that I want to read. And then finally, a couple of others. Both of these are sub 800 pages, but are quite close. So again, not counting the notes. Oh, this has got loads of notes. With all of the notes, this is well over 800 pages. Goodness. Okay. With everything, I don't know. It hasn't got final page count because there's maps in the back as well. But that's the notes and that's the text. It's 590 pages, and it is the Histories by Herodotus. I've never read this. I know as a kind of piece of classic literature, it's well liked, and I would like to read it, but haven't read it yet. I have had a copy for quite some time. And then linked to the Count of Monte Cristo. Before I read the Count of Monte Cristo, I read the Three Musketeers, and that's what prompted me to read the Count of Monte Cristo. So I love the Three Musketeers, read the Count of Monte Cristo, love that even more, and now I'm in a bit of a Alexandre Dumas thing. I don't quite know what the thing is, but it's a thing, and I want to read all of the rest of the what are called the D'Artagnan romances. So there are another 1, 2, 3, 4 books, and the fourth one is The Man in the Iron Mask. So I've got the next book in that series. Is it a mammoth? I didn't think it was going to be. No, when you take off all the notes, it is 788 pages. So, nearly. And again, pretty small typeface. But the next book in a series, so the Three Musketeers, then it's this book, then there are 2 more that I can't remember the titles of, and then The Man in the Iron Mask. So that is my plan, is to read all of those. No particular time scale for that. I just, preferably before I, either my eyesight is so bad I can't read them, or and then I'll just get them an audiobook, I suppose, or I pop my clogs. I think I used that phrase the other day and got a comment about popping my clogs being a new phrase for them. Hi, Greg. So anyway, this is 20 years after. So this is, as you might guess, 20 years after the Three Musketeers. And the next book I want to read in that series. And I fully intend to get to that at some point. I'd like to get to this year. I haven't got the next books in the series. I haven't ordered them, purchased them, whatever, because I'm trying to do them, when I finish one I'll order the next, rather than get them all and just have them sitting on my shelf looking at me intimidatingly. So yeah, I'm maybe after I've read Les Misérables, I might pick this one up next. I don't know. There's so many books I want to read. So many books, so little time. But yeah, so that is on my plan to read. And that, I think, is it. Yeah. So, if you've made it through 24 minutes of me waffling about big books, thank you for watching. Thank you to Shelly for creating the tag. It was a lot of fun, I have to say. I do enjoy waffling about big books. And thank you to Emily for tagging me. Go watch both their videos. And as I say, thank you to you guys for watching, if you have been, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.